Television is a pretty dramatic industry, and there have been very few more dramatic entrances than the one made by Hamish McLennan when he joined the Ten Network less than 3 months ago. A former senior staffer with Rupert Murdoch's News Corporation and global boss of creative agency Y&R, Hamish's appointment came ahead of what some are hoping to see as a shift back to momentum for the network. Now, the weeks that have followed since Hamish's arrival have been pretty tumultuous. On his very first day in the office, well, not in the office, he appeared at a parliamentary hearing, which is a tough first day on the gig for anyone. There's a new team, there's a new programming slate. Last week, the network announced that it was switching to a 25 to 54-year-old demographic focus. This week, it won the rights to Big Bash, the cricket. Please welcome Hamish McLennan. At the start of the week, you won the Big Bash. Yeah. You bid for the whole cricket. You bid for the international side of things. Yeah. How did you come up with the prize?
Look, we always knew that Nine were keen to keep it. They would do whatever it took to match the bid. I mean, we genuinely had a good red hot go at the international series. We saw that with the Big Bash wanting to be put on free-to-air TV, that we could put our foot on that. So we felt pretty confident in our bidding. We went down, Lachlan and I, and had a meeting with the Cricket Australia people and saw how serious they were in tendering all of cricket together. And we sort of picked a number that we thought was fair and reasonable and added another 20 million to it. And then just saw how it went and played out. And we're delighted with the Big Bash. We think it's a format that's got a hell of a lot of potential, and it gives us a foot in the door of more live sport, which we think is critically important for a free-to-air network now.
And the fact that you were willing to spend $1 billion, you're spending 100 million, what are you going to do with the difference? How are you going to spend that?
There's a lot of money to spend, as you've sort of highlighted there.
And it's worth stressing that's over 5 years as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, every plank in our strategy, we've got to monetise it. So firstly, sport, as you've seen there with things like the Winter Olympics, we secured that at a really good price. We think that we'll be able to make some good money off the back of that, and we're very pleased with that. But we're changing the whole programming mix within the business. So we've over-indexed, I think, with a lot of Australian drama, and it's important that we still maintain our commitment to that. But the type of shows that have made Ten famous over the years, like Australian Idol and Big Brother, the big format reality-based shows and Shiny Floors, are really important from a client and a product integration point of view. Quite often they're live in nature, they're more immediate, they don't get PVR'd, and I think that's one of the issues that we've had at Channel 10, is that whilst our shows we think are really terrific, the Homelands of this world, the Offsprings, do get PVR'd a lot, and so those shows are being watched on the weekends and at a later time, and that's an issue for us because we can't monetise it as well. So we're looking at more live sport, we're looking at more reality, as I said before, and we'll still have our commitment to drama overseas and locally made, but they are being PVR'd, and I think that's an issue for the whole industry.
Now, one of your competitors sat right here at this time yesterday and was asked, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, if you were Hamish, what would you do? Yeah. David Gingell's advice was a couple of things. Number one, get lucky, making the argument everybody needs a little bit of luck with what's a hit. But number two, stand for something, and if you can't get the big sporting events, stand for drama. Do you recognise that as good advice?
Yeah, look, I think that's absolutely fair. I mean, as far as we're concerned, we see that the 25 to 54-year-old demo is the most important in the market. So about 50% of the population falls within that demo. About 60% of all ad dollars fall within that demo. So we would go out of business if we stayed with our traditionally older demographic of 16 to 39. That was a massive issue for us. And we were getting caught in a narrow band because a lot of those viewers in that demo are PVRing or downloading content. And again, that's another issue for the industry. We can talk about that later. But the reality is those viewers within 25 to 54 in that bracket are more stable in terms of how they view programs. And so I think for us, we want to be known from a positioning point of view as a home of great event TV. We like that thematically. We think that that's stuff that is much watched TV, and that could be an event around drama, it could be live sport, or it could be around reality. And so we're just sort of changing the focus and the programming mix within the company.
Now, I've been writing about media in Australia for 6 or 7 years, and for most of that time, I've thought of Ten as the youth network, 1639, much more recently beginning to move to 1849. Now, the shift to 2554, there are a lot of perceptions around Ten as the youth network. How long is it going to take you to shake them? And do you think the move should have been made sooner?
Look, with the benefit of hindsight, I think it should have. The thing that really hurt Ten, I think strategically, with the advent of the digital channels, we've got Go and we've got 7 Mate, who came right up against Channel 10, and we launched 11 as well. So it was very hotly contested at that younger end. I mean, the thing is, that traditional demo that we used to own, 16 to 39, have grown old, over the last 10 years. So you've got this massive amount of viewers who are sitting within 25 to 54-year-olds. And I guess the simple fact is the free-to-air market's worth about 2.8 billion or thereabouts in Australia, shared amongst 3 free-to-air TV stations. So there's ample room for everyone. But if you just look at the demographics within Australia, we've got an ageing population, and I think 7 and 9 have benefited from that, and what we need to do is get our fair share. We talk a lot about young at heart, so our average age is going to be less than 7 and 9, so we'll maintain that. But it's a combination of sort of chopping the tail off the younger end of that demographic, because they're just not watching TV the way they used to, and then just pushing it up a little bit older.
So you are where you are. You can only manage the network that's in front of you. If you did have a time machine and you could change 3 things, 3 key decisions before your time, what would they be?
It's a great question. I think, going back a couple of years, we should have started pushing the older demographic a lot earlier. So again, we kept that laser-like focus on 16 to 39, and that culturally was just the focus of the network. So we should have moved it older and then kept 11 as the youth-orientated digital channel, that part of the network.
And I guess there were shows that really seemed 1639.
Like Neighbours. Yeah, absolutely. So we should have done that. I think we should have launched 11 before 1. That's the second thing I would say. And I would have changed... I wouldn't have done the Negus project. So I think that did hurt us, at 6 o'clock.
Because the appetite wasn't there for that type of news? Or?
Well, it cost a lot of money. I think we were competing against 7 and 9. And we had, with an audience pool that were very loyal. They're very habitual viewers at 6 o'clock with the news. So I think that we strategically should have acknowledged that. But between 5 and 7 o'clock, we had a lot of news. So too much news, in my opinion.